This program is rated PG. It contains themes, scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
And yes, of course, this room is now brighter, or should I say the background is now being improved more. And of course, we would rather have to do some sort of a new topic that would be most relatable to all of us, especially if you're a student or a worker, or maybe even a staff. And yes, this is December 2020, and in this episode, 5S BLISSipline has to be discussed as well. And if you're watching all over DP24 FB page, DP24 GTV on YouTube channel, also DP24 ETV, thank you so very much because it is all simulcasted across these channels. And let me see if I could share with you the episode and ads that needs to be shown. That of course, what I'm wondering is any problems in regard arrangements needs to be, but I don't understand. Most of the people here are not as property, and that being said, would cause sharing is and of course 5 is all about going to discuss here is podcast a live session you're watching. And you want to be sure about for some reason a issue that Chrome keeps hanging and maybe only half an hour I'll for I have to stop the home and is 1 to 2 minutes for me to remove from. I'll be back with you shortly. please start. Of course, I'm back, and apologies for technical issues that we have experienced. And yes, of course, here it is. The five best discipline philosophy that we need to learn more about it. And so So without further ado, I'll share the slide and please stand by. We should have simulcast everything. Unless if there would be an instance of technical issues. For those who are watching on Facebook Watch, it's okay, but for the YouTube side, well, it's not fully simulcasted due to erratic computer behavior. And well, I'll switch back to the studio for the Facebook Watch part, and hopefully so, everything is solved. And I'll retry the screen share. And that's it. Yes, discipline is what we need to understand. And for the sake of the continuous discussion, special thanks to Lakey Inspired for this wonderful background music, and to LPU Cavite, FEASTSMDasma, and also special thanks to Quest, EDF coaches, Evolution coaches, and Team G coaches for utmost contribution as to why I have to stream out. And also, MAP Philippines, Mental Health Awareness Philippines, Humanitarian Open Team Philippines, on why I'm here, just to share it with you on what I have done. Quality assurance and quality control is what we need to do at all times, whether if you're working or studying or business. Don't forget that in this episode, discipline philosophy is what we have to discuss. Of course, I'm going to share it with you first with the definition of the 5S. And so, we slice in the productivity and even work attitude, not just for all of us, but also for the company or organization that you're going to work with. And don't forget that the 5S, let me quote this one from 5S.com. 5S is a system for organizing spaces so work can perform efficiently, effectively, and safely. Hence, the definition is that the only focus is to putting every where it belongs to and keeping the workplace or a room clean, efficient, and tidy. Thus making it easier without risking such wasted time and even Oh my goodness, this is what I have realized something. That the previous Skyway extension major accident or major construction accident disaster have perished a single motorcyclist life, and that's unacceptable. And so, what are those lapses that could be? I don't like to compare this, but I do on the back after the class that I have to rearrange all of these, arrange chairs and tables, and even clean up the entire room. And sometimes there's no trash bin inside the classroom. And for me, that's the kind of the abuses that not only me, not only the, you know, maintenance personnel as a frontline worker that have been going through. But of course, it's a systemic abuse already of leaving one's mess and somebody's going to pick it up. And it has to be stopped. So, if I could switch the slide, hopefully there would be no technical errors. And so, with this kind of, you know, realization that I have got while I'm heading towards the new normal, better normal of life. Oh my goodness me. And this is what I have to show it to you. The 5S, if it's of the Japanese origin, and yes, you heard it right, it have originated from the Toyota manufacturing. This is a very serious topic. We have to memorize these 5 key Japanese words. Seiya is Seiso Seiketsu Shisuke. And if we're going to translate this one, then it's a set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. But in LPU Cavite, they have adapted as sort, systematize, sweep, standardize, and self-discipline. And this is what I have to come up with the term 5S discipline way back 2017 or 2018. Or should I say much earlier, which is 2018, in which I entered ultimately to become a student officially in LP Cavite. What I've read over beliefs that maintaining such 5S philosophy would make it very harder because not only students or classmates have left flagrantly the place, they should have to clean it up. And of course, acceptable anymore. If I could say this one, hopefully all of us, dear students, even workers or employees, staff and person to strictly take note of 5S. And of course, the 5S that is originated from the Toyota manufacturing or Toyota production system rather, as the Toyota Motor Company has to come up with the idea to prevent such waste or eliminate waste from the production processes, increasing the value of product prices. Of course, would have reduced cost, reduced chances of crashes or accidents, greater employer, student, or personal satisfaction, increased productivity, and even the higher quality, only for the education but also for the work as well. So be more like of rearranging those items in an orderly fashion, and of course in order would be more like of reducing such waste that could be in the form of a fixed longer wait time. But speaking of waiting time, passengers inside the EDSA carousel busway previously have endured such a waste of time, drained, oh my goodness me, drained road levels, leads to the busway system needs some sort of improvements. And so sad to hear that era bus captains have standing on a stop, or they should have not to stay too long because there would be some sort of a bunching effect. Hopefully MMDA take this action against such errant buses violating that rule. Next is the shine or sweep, if you like to call it. And then everyone would rather think that the sweep part is more of cleaning up not only the work but also for sweeping, mopping, dusting, and down such surfaces putting tools and materials up and so on and so forth. This is what we have to emphasize this one. In this COVID-19 pandemic disaster currently experiencing, stringent sanitation protocol or protocols to be implemented, as well that frequent sanitation times for every 15 minutes, or for the case of public transportation, after each trip or before and after each trip. And on this standardized, we have to do something in order to standardize each protocol that needs to be observed. Might as well in the workplace that needs to be copied. And that's why there is always a standard operating procedure that has to. And that being said, there's always floor markings, posters, signages, even organizers, and this that have a greater impact for all of us. And in mentioning the accessibility purposes. And the sustain. This is the hard to do. Especially, we have to maintain such procedures or protocols if necessary. Let's admit this one. All of us might have a lack of self-discipline. And as a result, there is always a reports of disorderly conduct, and there's an point that the company will fire the errant employee, or even the, let's say, universities or colleges or schools would expel the desirable student. But hopefully, in this case, one should be left behind on what we have to campaign for. But sometimes 5S discipline is not enough. And of course, we have to do something and that's why I have created a logo that needs to be updated in response to a pandemic instead of the usual 5S. And of course, to be turned or transferred into 5S discipline. So, you might be wondering, what does the discipline is? And of course, I have to explain this with you. combination of a bliss and discipline, but of course, it's what I have to learn from this. The five discipline is what I have formulated as a core belief that needs to be something done and might as well to develop such 5S basic, and every year we are tired of such resolutions every new year that oftentimes not get achievable or fulfilled. And so this 5S discipline, and we have to I have rather to give you some tips. First of all, we have to beat down. Second third is to have is to why. And of course, I have read it out of post as a basis on this topic. But of course, we have to focus on what why we are doing like this, that, and so we have to understand that where I'm being this live stream is that there is a season of planting and a season of harvesting. Currently, I'm into the approach of the engineering or civil engineering graduation, and of course, this December 883. This one is the last three, and the last two would be the next week, and the last episode would be on 18 December, because there would be a Christmas break, New Year, Christmas, New Year, and final examination break, or a other, because I have to be fully concentrated on the examination, and I hope that there will be a change to the policies that would require the gradual resumption of the in-person on-site classes, including the laboratory sessions. Moreover, I'm so grateful that what I have done in the previous years to do some sort of clean up, and even the arrangements of and tables in a proper position would be fulfilled. And if you're a student in this episode to this episode within DP24 Radio, you have to make sure that you have a 5S discipline. And that being said, growth would not stop from the show. I tell you guys. And also to future self, whether if you're a single or married already, you might have to consider this an inspiration and learning experience to fulfill our lives and do what it takes just to be into the full side. And that concludes DP24 in Focus live session. Of course, tomorrow is DPonreflections live diary session, but it would be a bit earlier. But before I let you, once again, 5S discipline. On the discipline part is the bliss and discipline. And this is what the 8th video is all about. So, for this episode, and I hope that you would have some time to install the ID in your motor vehicle, motorcycles, having a 400cc specification. And so, E2 elevated would be open at any time. We are not yet so sure for what could it be the exact date this December. Just like what happened to the E6 or New Aquino International Airport this way. Everybody have enjoyed those toll facilities, albeit on a toll fee. And next week is the part 2, whereas I have to share my own experiences in detail. So please stay tuned. And always remember this one. Be safe, stay sane, and as always, you are loved.